Afternoon, and welcome to the third and final public comment hearing on CHA's proposed 2024 MTW Annual Plan Amendment and 2025 MTW Annual Plan. My name is Jennifer Hoyle. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff at CHA, and I will be moderating the hearing today. I'd also like to introduce our sign language interpreter, Diana Thorpe, who you will be able to see on the screen, and Bridget Howard, who will be assisting with public comment. The slide on the screen right now provides information on translation services available through CHA. Please move to the next slide. This information is also available on CHA's website at www.thecha.org. I'll begin the public comment hearing with a presentation on the 2024 Annual Plan Amendment and 2025 Annual Plan, followed by the public comment part of the meeting. If you have questions regarding the 2024 Plan Amendment or the 2025 Plan Amendment, or the 2025 plan, you can include them in the chat, and I will try to respond today if possible. You can also submit comments by email, fax, and regular mail. The process to finalize the annual plan and plan amendment includes a 30-day public comment period, followed by submission to CHA's Board of Commissioners for approval, and then submission to HUD for approval. This year, CHA has two documents out for public comment. First, an amendment to the 2024 MTW Annual Plan, and second, the 2025 MTW Annual Plan. The process and timeline for both documents is the same. The public comment period began on July 22nd and ends on August 20th. Documents related to the plan are available at www.thecha.org. These documents include the public comment notice, an executive summary of the plan, and the proposed plan and plan amendment. CHA scheduled 3 public comment hearings to provide an overview of the plan and plan amendment and to address any comments or questions that residents and other interested parties may have. We held a live stream hearing and an in-person hearing last week. Today's live stream hearing is our third and final hearing. Links to recordings of the live stream hearings will be available on CHA's website during the public comment period. You can submit a comment at any time during the public comment period by email to comment on the plan at thecha.org, as well as regular mail and fax. At the end of this process, we will complete a comment grid, which is a list of all questions received regarding the plan, along with CHA's responses. All questions and comments regarding the plan, regardless of how they are received, will be included in the comment grid and will be reviewed and responded to by CHA staff in the comment grid. As I mentioned, CHA is proposing an amendment to its 2024 MTW Annual Plan, which was approved by HUD earlier this year. The purpose of the amendment is to add properties and land that may be subject to HUD's disposition process. Disposition is a HUD term that refers to a variety of real estate transactions, including long-term leases, sales of property, and easements. HUD requires that these transactions be included in the agency's annual plan prior to beginning HUD's disposition process. Most dispositions in the plan amendment are related to the affordable homeownership phase of Restore Home. Restore Home is a $50 million capital investment by CHA to renovate and rehabilitate vacant buildings in the single, small, and medium-sized apartment portfolio, commonly known as scattered sites. Approximately 3 dozen small and medium-sized vacant apartment buildings around the city have been targeted for renovation, with more than 175 units scheduled to be brought back into leasable condition by mid-2025. An additional 40 single-family homes are being renovated and will be made available for leasing or affordable home ownership opportunities. The ones slated for affordable home ownership are listed in this plan amendment. To date, through Restore Home, 5 multi-unit buildings have been rehabbed, 13 buildings are under construction, 16 single-family homes are scheduled to begin construction by the end of August, and additional construction work is planned for Q4 of 2024. In addition to the dispositions related to Restore Home, the plan amendment includes disposition of vacant CHA land for development of rental and home ownership phases at historic CHA developments, including Washington Park, Stateway, Madden Wells, Lakefront Properties, and Roosevelt Square, as well as other dispositions related to development of community amenities, including a grocery store at 39th and State Street, ground leases for the installation of solar panels at Altgeld, and an easement for the construction of a new trail and water service line at Altgeld. I would also like to note that although these dispositions are also included in the 2025 annual plan, CHA is proposing them as a 2024 plan amendment to expedite the approval process because the 2025 plan likely will not be approved by HUD until the first quarter of 2025. I'm now going to move on to the 2025 MTW annual plan. Submission of an annual plan is a requirement of CHA's participation in HUD's Moving to Work, or MTW, demonstration program, which provides participating public housing agencies with regulatory and financial flexibility to better serve their residents. The plan provides an overview of the agency's proposed use of those flexibilities. We have to tell HUD how we are using our financial flexibility, and if we are asking HUD for flexibility from a HUD regulation, we have to explain how and why. The content and format of the plan are based on HUD guidelines, and the plan is due to HUD in October before the beginning of the plan year. The plan is organized into 6 different sections, including an introduction, general operating information, proposed MTW activities, approved MTW activities, finances, and administrative documents. In my presentation today, I'll be providing a general overview of each section. Highlights of CHA's proposed 2025 annual plan include development of 680 housing units, including 297 CHA units, funding for a variety of resident services programs, home ownership options through Choose to Own and down payment assistance, a $50 million investment in Restore Home, $210 million in capital spending at CHA properties, and funding for programs to assist people experiencing homelessness. Section 2 of the plan includes General Housing Authority operating information, such as unit delivery, portfolio and development updates, capital expenditures, leasing, and wait lists. In 2025, CHA projects that housing will be delivered at supportive housing developments, including Sarah's Lakeside and Lakeview Landing, as well as family developments, including West Haven 2D, Ogden Commons A2, Oaken Larrabee 1, Roosevelt Square 3B, Grace Manor, and Parkside 5. All of the projected new units are project-based voucher units, including RAD units. In 2025, construction will be ongoing at Parkside 5, Clybourne and Larrabee, Southbridge 1C, Lathrop 1C, LeClaire, Legend South, and Ogden Commons A2. Pre-construction activity will continue at Park Boulevard 4B, Park Boulevard for Sale, and 45th and Evans. West Haven 2D, Ogden Commons A2, Oaken Larrabee 1, and Roosevelt Square 3B are being developed as public housing, but when construction is complete, they will be converted to project-based vouchers using Faircloth to RAD. There will be no loss of CHA housing as a result of this transaction. Units are simply being changed from public housing to project-based vouchers. By the end of 2025, CHA projects that it will administer a total of 14,575 project-based vouchers across all programs, including more than 3,200 PBV family and senior units, 1,500 supportive housing units, 9,200 RAD units, and 460 MOD rehab units. These numbers include new PBVs at Heart of Uptown, Apnagar, and Mercy Housing Prairie District. CHA may also convert existing public housing properties to RAD project-based vouchers. As described in Section 2 of the plan, CHA will invest $210 million in its existing property portfolio, as well as new construction and capital planning. These expenditures include development at the sites I just mentioned, as well as funding for work at existing CHA properties, including Abla Brooks, Altgeld, Dearborn, Trumbull, Armour Square, Wicker Park, Irene McCoy Gaines, and the small, medium, and large apartment portfolio. Capital planning includes expenditures for physical needs assessments of CHA properties, as well as an upgraded enterprise resource planning system. CHA will serve more than 65,000 households in 2025, including 12,000 public housing households, 50,000 voucher households, 250 households through MTW local non-traditional programs, and an additional 3,200 households through special purpose vouchers. We will also continue to maintain our site-based family and senior public housing and PBV waitlists, community-based waitlists for the scattered site properties, and the citywide waitlist for the tenant-based voucher program. Section 3 of the plan includes proposed new MTW activities. MTW activities are programs or initiatives that CHA has implemented in a different way than what HUD regulations would normally allow. When we do this, we have to tell HUD how and why and what our goals are. When we propose something new or change something that HUD has already approved, we include it in Section 3 of the plan. In 2025, CHA is not proposing any new activities, but we are proposing a significant change to the exception payment standard activity. In 2018, CHA received approval to approve exception payments of up to 250% of HUD's fair market rent for reasonable accommodations in the HCV program, which allowed CHA to manage these requests internally rather than going through the HUD waiver process. CHA discontinued this internal approval process in Q4 of 2023. We are now proposing to formally change the MTW activity and discontinue the internal approval of the 250% EPS for reasonable accommodations. We will instead follow the established HUD waiver process for these requests. HUD FMRs have increased 44% since CHA first proposed this amendment in 2018, which means that a larger number of dwelling units in all areas of Chicago are within fair market rent limits or within CHA's 150% exception payment standard limit. I want to emphasize that this change will not impact CHA's HUD-approved 150% exception payment standard for units located in mobility areas. CHA is also proposing minor changes to 8 activities related to reexaminations, income calculations, and landlord incentives. Specifically, we're proposing to streamline these activities by combining related activities. Under our proposal, biennial and triennial reexaminations would be combined into a single activity called Modified Reexamination Schedule for Housing Choice Voucher and Public Housing Residents. 4 activities related to income calculations would be combined into a single activity called Streamlined Income Calculation for HCV and Public Housing Residents. And 2 activities related to landlord incentives would be combined into a single activity called HCV Landlord Incentives. CHA is not making any changes to how these activities function, and these changes will not impact CHA residents. They only impact how CHA reports the metrics for these activities to HUD. Section 4 of the plan describes MTW programs and initiatives that HUD approved in prior years. CHA continues to administer 27 previously approved MTW activities that are designed to create efficiencies and cost savings, expand housing choices for CHA residents, and increase self-sufficiency. Section 4 has a summary of every MTW activity listed on the slide that includes the year it was approved or amended, a description of the activity, any updates regarding the activity, planned changes to the activity, and the benchmark for 2025. When CHA submits its annual MTW report to HUD in 2026, we will report on whether or not we met those benchmarks. Section 5 of CHA's annual plan includes information on CHA's finances and its use of MTW flexibility. I think we can move up one additional slide. Thank you. CHA currently projects $1.05 billion in revenue and $1.1 billion in expenses. The projected gap would be filled using third-party financing. I would note, however, that CHA's 2025 budget is still being finalized, so the financial information will be updated as necessary to reflect the budget. CHA uses its MTW funding flexibility to fund a variety of resident services programming. These programs are designed to promote and encourage economic independence, earning power, academic achievement, and stability and quality of life. Further, programming is available for both voucher and public housing households for residents across all age groups and demographics. CHA projects that this programming will meet or exceed the following benchmarks in 2025. 75 families will purchase a home through homeownership programs. 85% of family self-sufficiency participants will accrue escrow. 400 residents will be connected with new and better jobs. 300 residents will attend City Colleges of Chicago. 175 youth and adults will receive CHA scholarships. And 170,000 Golden Diner meals will be served to seniors. As with the MTW activities, CHA will report on its progress towards these benchmarks in our annual report. The last section of the annual plan is Section 6, which includes certain administrative documents, such as the Certificate of Compliance, lobbying disclosure, and board resolution, as well as the completed comment grid, which will include the questions and comments submitted during this process, as well as CHA's responses. We're now going to move on to the public comment portion of the meeting. So, Bridget, I'm going to ask, do we have any comments in the chat? Okay. So, since there are no comments in the chat related to the plan amendment or the plan, I'm going to briefly review and respond to 2 questions that were submitted at earlier hearings that may be of interest to other people watching this presentation. First, at the in-person hearing at the FIC, 2 attendees requested information about the homeownership programs that I mentioned earlier in my presentation. Information about these programs is available at CHA's website at www.thecha.org. Just click on the Home Ownership Made Easy or Home tile, and you will find information on Choose to Own, down payment assistance, and home buyer workshops. You can also email your request for information to comment on the plan at thecha.org, and we will have someone respond to you with additional information. Also at the in-person hearing, we received a question from a resident regarding the development at Legends South that I referenced earlier in my presentation. Specifically, I mentioned that Legends South A3 would be under construction in 2025 and that there would be pre-construction activity for the Legends South home ownership phase. A resident asked for more specific information about where this development would happen. We can move to the next slide. Thank you. Legends South A3 is the next rental phase at Legends South, and the proposed new development will be located on State Street between 45th Street and a new 46th Street. In May, CHA's Board of Commissioners approved a variety of actions to further this development phase, and it is projected to close in the winter. Legends South A3 includes 52 total units, 1 new construction 4-story building with 40 units, and 1 3-story walk-up with 12 units. 21 of the new units will be CHA units. The pictures you see on the screen are the renderings of Legends South A3. The Legends South home ownership development is still in the planning phase, but would be located on 44th Street, generally bound by State Street to the east and Federal to the west. Since we don't have any additional comments, that concludes the public comment portion of the meeting. Before I close the meeting, though, I would like to remind everyone that the public comment period continues through August 20th, and written comments can be submitted until that date by email, fax, and mail. If you're interested in obtaining more information about the plan, please go to CHA's website at www.thecha.org and review the information that's posted. I think you said we have one question in the chat, Bridget.
Yes.
Sure. Go ahead.
This is referring to the FY2024 amendment.
Yes.
If a family buys a home through Restore Home, then decides to sell the property, is there a mechanism in place to keep the home affordable for the next buyer?
So the affordable home ownership part of Restore Home is still being developed, but that is one of the considerations that we're looking at. So I don't have any details yet, but that is definitely a consideration as we move into the home ownership phase.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. As I said, if you're interested in obtaining more information about the plan, go to CHA's website at www.thecha.org and review the information that's posted. I would also ask the person who submitted the comment about Restore Home in the chat to please send an email to comment on the plan at thecha.org so we have your name and contact information and can send you additional information as the Restore Home affordable homeownership phase develops. Thank you for participating. That concludes our hearing.